All right, the start of a new day. Remy says he wants to walk with me. He's going to leave me in the dust, but we'll probably end up at the same spot. We'll see.
Lead for right now.
Oh.
That's what happens on a video.
Yeah. I don't know which ridge we got. I think we go up that far ridge there. See that tower way up there?
Yeah.
I think we're going to...
It's our first objective.
Yeah. So, the uphill begins. I'll be moving at probably about a half mile an hour, but we're going to get to the top. 9.9 miles to the first shelter. I think Patriarch was talking about staying at that Camp 113.
Yeah. Is that the first one?
So we're on top right now of the ridge line that we're gonna pretty much stay on until we get out of the Smokies. There'll be up some ups and downs between gaps, but already the forest has kind of changed a bit. Where it looks like we got a nice blanket of flowers and looks like grass. It almost looks like a city park. Kind of pretty. Oh, and by the way, there's a person who shall remain nameless that said that if I fall, he's not going to help me. So if anybody finds this video and I'm not around, there's somebody you should look at first. So, our first shelter in the Smokies. I think we're 12 miles in, a little over 12 miles in on the day. Yay. Today is not a nice day. It's been spitting rain all morning. We've climbed about 1,000 feet in elevation right off the bat. Everything is all gray and cloudy, so even when we get to the top of something, it's hard to see what may be out there. And that wind is just biting. So, not a lot of pictures or videos today, but I'll do what I can. I just want to get into that shelter and make sure we don't get hit with all the rain we're supposed to get today. And I think the winds today or tonight are still supposed to peak at about 65 miles an hour. So no way I'm going to stay in a tent with that kind of wind. So moving on. I apologize if there's not a whole lot of video or pictures from today, but there's really not a whole lot to see other than blowing bushes and trees and clouds. So I spent the night in the shelter last night. Rainy, windy, and all we kept hearing was today was supposed to be completely nasty. We woke up to nasty, and then all of a sudden everything stopped, the sun came out. So now we're headed towards the next shelter and potentially a rendezvous with Nancy at Kleeman's Dome. So hopefully things work out. The trail's kind of wet, but it'll make it a little bit slow going. But we don't have far, so see you down the trail. So Nancy hasn't answered any of my Garmin messages from last night or this morning, so I really don't know. I don't know what's going on. And we got a couple of people that had intermittent cell service, and we're hearing there's trees down everywhere, the roads in the park are closed, and we're probably going to be here for at least an extra day. And I have no clue. For all I know, the roads are wide open. Nancy's been sitting in the parking lot, just for whatever reason, just not either getting my messages or answering them, or probably wondering where they. I'm at. So we'll see. The trail is like, it's like walking through soup this morning. Not fun. But at least it's not raining today. And the wind is manageable. So I was able to take my raincoat off a little bit. I started sweating under it, mostly because of the sun. It's only 37 or 38 degrees right now, but as long as that wind's not blowing and that sun's out, it's kind of toasty. So hopefully I get cell service and she answers her phone soon, so I can figure out what's going on, figure out if she's still alive or where she might be at or whatever. Yeah. It is what it is, I guess. Here's kind of a new look. It's almost alpine-esque. It's the first time we've actually walked through a stand of evergreens. It's kind of pretty, kind of peaceful. This is very pretty. It's almost like the opening scene of my videos. A forest like this. It's really neat. All the moss growing on everything. Well, 2 more miles to Clemens and about 1,000 feet of elevation. Whew. Did talk to Nancy real quick, and she thought the road was going to be open at noon. So I told her to meet us at Clemens in 3. So that gives me 3 hours to hike 3 miles. With all of it being uphill, that's probably going to be about right. So let me get to it. So, about, I think I got a hold of Nancy about noonish, something like that. She said that the Twitter said that the road was, no, it was about 10. She said the road would be open about noon. So I went ahead and passed up the last shelter and told her just go ahead and meet me here at Kleeman's Dome. And I got to Kleeman's Dome, went up, took the pictures, did the whole 9 yards, walked down to the parking lot. I got down to the parking lot and I had like 1 bar of service. And that's when I found out from her that the entire park is closed. So I kind of looked around and I'm like, okay, it's a very exposed parking lot here. Really not anywhere for me to like throw up a tent. And the next shelter is probably, well, I have to go back up Kleeman's Dome, so probably about 8 miles, and that shelter is, it's only big enough for 8 people. All the reviews that I saw, the comments about it, said that the roof leaked bad. The only other thing I could think of was going on to Newfound Gap, but Newfound Gap has no facilities there either. And with the entire park closed, it wouldn't matter if I was there or here at Klingman's. I mean, I would be equally stuck no matter where I was. So, yeah, I decided to find a 1-room accommodation, and I have my own bathroom, my own garbage can, hand sanitizer, a locking door, so at least I can kind of keep that closed. Oh, and I have toilet paper. I just have to remember to close the toilet lid after I'm done using it. Which actually, all things told, this is probably as good a sleeping accommodations as I've probably had out here on the trail anyhow. The weather says that it's going to clear up tomorrow morning, although we're going to get down below freezing tonight. But the weather says the winds are going to clear up. Apparently the winds are supposed to be gusting to like 65 or so, and the park doesn't think that people should be out driving with winds that strong. So they closed the whole park. All of it. Everything. So, I get to spend the night in a 1-room accommodation. Yay me. Other than being exceptionally cold and windy, it's kind of a beautiful day. Let's see if I can get out of the park today. So of course when you leave the Smokies, you go under Interstate 40, which is behind me there, under the bridge. Come up here and there's a big down. There's also a big up. Weird day today. Smokies are behind me, kind of in the background there. On my way to Hot Springs. Got to talk with my kids. Well, I was in Gatlinburg. Had a great time with my wife. Great time. Said goodbye to her. Said goodbye to the dogs. Caught up with Cricket just right there at the coming out of the Smokies. She's getting off trail. She's going to Standing Bear Farm. She's getting off trail there. I guess she's going to catch a shuttle to the airport in Nashville and go on home. Today seemed like a day of goodbyes for a lot of things and hellos, and I guess just the middle of the beginning still. I haven't even hit 300, so I've still got 2,000 miles in front of me. The trail today's been pretty nice. I'm supposed to be having some thunderstorms here soon, so I'm kind of hoping either I can get into a campsite or maybe a shelter if there's one close enough. Kind of keep out of the rain a little bit, at least for the night. We'll see. Just as I said that, of course, it started thundering. It looks like I might be walking in the rain. Figured I'd get a little bit of video while I still could before the clouds break open. Kind of seems to be the way of things. As soon as you start doing something cool or see something cool, it starts raining, so you got to put everything up. And that was my experience in the Smokies. Long days, long uphills, lots of rain, high winds, park closures. Have an odd experience for the Smokies. Generally I like that place, the national park that is, but walking the AT through it is not the same as driving up to Cades Cove and taking a quick little 2 or 3 mile trail and go see a waterfall or something. Yeah, hopefully now that we're kind of out of the Smokies, things are gonna chill out a little bit elevation wise. Remy, I think, is probably 3 or 4 days maybe in front of me. Patriarch probably 2 or 3 days in front of me. I don't know if I'll be able to catch them in Hot Springs, but maybe shortly after Hot Springs, we'll see. Let me get at this. It's kind of amazing. You drop down a little bit in elevation, probably a couple thousand feet, and it seems like overnight dogwoods. You see those trees with the white flowers? Dogwoods have started blooming. I mean, like in full force. It was just even a couple of days ago, none of the dogwoods were blooming. But I think the combination of dropping a little bit in elevation and just a couple of days, temperature increased a little bit, but that brought the dogwoods out in full force. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with the legend of the dogwood, but legend has it that the cross that Christ was crucified on was made of dogwood. And since then, when the dogwood flowers in spring, right around Easter, which is when it is, it puts out 4-petaled flowers. And at the end of, in the shape of a cross, and at the end of each petal is a red pucker mark, which is supposed to indicate the wounds of Christ, the feet, the hands, and the crown of thorns. So kind of a, if you look at the flower and know the legend a little bit, kind of neat, see them blooming around Easter. Today's big mountain is named after a bunch of people that I know, not to name any names. This is an odd one, but let me flip it around. This is the top of Snowbird Mountain. It's kind of like a long way up to a kind of a plateau, actually. But you can see the Smokies back there, how not quite as high. We're probably still about 1,000 feet lower, but we're still pretty up there. Mount Snowbird. So, start of yet another day. Went a little bit farther yesterday than I had intended, but it set me up today for a bit longer day and then 2 very short days. It should put me in Hot Springs day after tomorrow. Should put me in there very early in the day too, so I think I should have about a 3-mile hike into town. So I'll be able to probably hit a breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Hot Springs. Today's weather is 90% chance of rain all day. And then all day tomorrow, 80% chance. Then it drops to like 60% for that third day. Oh well. And of course, no day would be complete unless we started walking uphill when we left camp. Today's hill should be relatively tame though. I think tallest one will be about 1,000 feet, something like that. Which actually is not too bad. We'll see. All right, let me start walking. So we're walking up the trail for Max Patch, and I have a feeling it's going to be like a couple of the other overlooks. This is kind of a well-known spot on the Appalachian Trail. But you can see visibility is pretty crappy today. It did just stop raining, so that storm only lasted for 3 hours, and the temperature dropped. I think we're like 37, 38 degrees, something like that. It's kind of chilly. All right, let me climb this thing. Maybe the clouds will clear up a little bit when I get up there. So, not a real long day today, but it was rainy and very cold today. So, it's like 7:30, and
Got food in me. I think we got another day of rain tomorrow. Hopefully my stuff dries out. Else it's going to be a cold, cold morning. Long day, long night. Night.
I just come around a corner up here, the side of this mountain. I look down and I think that would be the town of Hot Springs. So probably just a couple of minutes from someplace dry for a change. Talk to you in a bit.